The female wrestler of today has so much opportunity in front of them. For girls to compete, I have 3 daughters myself, and if they so choose to wrestle, the attributes that I want them to learn from this sport is, number one, work ethic. They're going to have to be diligent in their training, their day-to-day training, to be successful at this sport, and I think that's a great thing for any young woman to learn.
Wrestling for women is going to do the same thing that's done for men for years, forever. It teaches them discipline, perseverance, proper nutrition. It teaches them how to deal with loss and continue to move forward. It teaches all the life lessons that men have learned over the years.
Everything I feel like I've learned in my life has come from wrestling in some kind of way. Discipline in school, discipline in all areas of my life, working hard, overcoming obstacles is a huge thing, and just realizing that things are a journey and it's a process, and I'm going to win when it counts, and I think that transfers over to all areas of life.
The motivation is the same for anybody, regardless of gender, is that you love what you're doing, you enjoy it. Wrestling, it builds a lot of great attributes in people. It's no different for our young girls as it is for our young boys.
The confidence is huge. I don't think people understand how much it takes to step on that mat and to be that person out there. I mean, everything's on you, and wrestlers understand that, and it's something that transfers to females and males. You see this confidence about yourself, that you believe in yourself, that you can go out there and execute those moves and do what you need to do, and I transfer that to all areas of my life, and it's amazing. It's amazing how I'm able to just approach situations and just have the understanding that I can do that because I believe in myself, and wrestling taught me that.
Wrestling really represents diversity. It represents athletes of all sizes, of all weights, of all heights. It represents both genders. We talk about the real life lessons that are learned on a wrestling mat, and they're not just learned by boys and men. They're learned by girls and women as well.
I think wrestling has opened up a lot of doors for me as a person, and maybe as a woman as well. It makes you a lot more confident, a lot more confident in yourself. You step on the mat, you have to rely on yourself. You have to be strong physically, mentally. So with that kind of attitude in anything you approach in life, it's going to make you successful.
Wrestling brings a unique part of our sport that not many other female sports bring to the table, and that's that your daughter will be able to compete against somebody her size and her age. So she's never going to walk out. It's not like going out onto a court or onto a field where she may be playing against somebody that's 40 pounds bigger than her, a foot taller than her. In the sport of wrestling, with weight classes and age groups, it gives your daughter the chance to compete in a fair, equal playing field.
Terry Steiner, the national women's coach at USA Wrestling on Colorado Springs, points out the fact that why limit this great sport to only half of the world's population? So you've got a great sport. Why not share that? Why do only men get to benefit from the self-improvement and the confidence building and the athleticism that wrestling brings?
The mission is to develop strong individuals, strong people, people that can stand up on their own 2 feet, people that are going to have successful careers after wrestling, successful marriages, successful lives. And so that's the things we can teach through the sport.
High school wrestling for women is growing by leaps and bounds. There's now 8,400 high school women wrestling across the country. That's more than 2 times as many high school women rowers that are across the country. Yet there's 144 NCAA women's rowing teams, and we have 3 or 4 NCAA women's wrestling teams.
It's interesting because I'm from Maryland. I was the only girl, wrestling there when I was growing up, so there weren't younger girls in Maryland watching me or my wrestling, but in states like California, for example, I did a clinic there last year, and just tons of girls were telling me, oh, we watch your matches, and we want to, pick your brain about what are you eating, what are you doing mentally, what do you do physically to prepare. And I just remember thinking, this is incredible. This is where I want to be. I want to be helping these girls, inspiring them. I want to build wrestling up, at all ages, all levels for the girls. And I just think it's incredible, and it feels great.
Starting to see tournaments with just girls. I go to clinics now, and there's 20 girls there. It's like, that's amazing. And I think the more people that work into it, the more women that start to wrestle and they start having role models to look up to, then they're going to want to do it. That's really cool because most of the role models these days are, Kim Kardashian, fashion people, Paris Hilton, who aren't that great role model. But if you look at someone like Helen Maroulis or Adeline Gray, they're living life perfectly, and they're accomplishing their goals, and just to have somebody like them to look up to is huge for women.
I mean, the sport is just too valuable to not have other girls have that access to it. And so for me, I mean, any way that I can inspire or help young girls to get started, I would love to be involved in. And I think USA Wrestling and FILA and tons of organizations have just done so much to help us to really reach out to those girls at the younger levels, because you know, right now they're starting and they have to wrestle boys, but I think just for them to see what the opportunities are, you know, college scholarships, traveling to countries, competing against other women, for them to see that, it puts that realistic goal in their mind, and then they know what they want to work for and they know what's possible for them.
I think people need to see the bigger picture, the picture that the dream that I'm living right now. My life is amazing. I have my education paid for. I live at the Olympic Training Center. I'm traveling the world and doing something that I love. I'm getting paid to work out and meet amazing people, all through a sport that wasn't traditional for females. And this is an opportunity for girls of all ages and all different body types to be able to get on this mat and prove something to themselves that they can be better. And I think people just need to have that understanding that just be that one moment of them wrestling a boy is just a stepping stone. To follow a dream is really what it ends up being, and that's the opportunity that's being presented right now with women's wrestling, just becoming a bigger sport. And so people need to embrace that and just understand that it is great.
We want to be at the level where at the Olympics we're parading Jordan Burroughs around on our shoulders because he won an Olympic championship, and we can do the same for athletes like Clarissa Chun, who won a bronze, Helen Maroulis, who was a world silver medalist, Adeline Gray, who's a world champion. We can put those women on the same level just like we do in track and field, just like we do in basketball, just like we do in tennis.
I really owe it to my parents, to them for being supportive. I couldn't have done it without them, and they, I mean, as all the, you know, criticisms or comments I got, they received too, and they had to deal with that. And I think there were times where they weren't sure if this was the right thing for them to put their daughter into a sport like this. But then looking back now, I think they, you know, it's incredible. Like, look how far I've come and all the opportunities, and just it's changed me as a person. It's given me confidence.
Having their support from the get-go has been incredible. They're at all of my tournaments, as many as they can make it to. They've been to my Junior World Championships in Budapest. They've been to my Senior World Championships. They've kind of come up to everything, and it means the world to me. And it just having that kind of support system really builds me up.
You're kind of concerned about wrestling? Just try it. Just go out and try it, see how you like it, watch a few matches. There's a bunch of people out there that you can find and watch wrestling and become your heroes, and that's what we need right now. We need heroes.